The hidden truth about manifestation. This is probably going to be a series. We're going to be talking to you about the 3 things you absolutely need in order to manifest from the 5th dimensional probability state, as opposed to your 3D fixed state. I will explain that to you in just a moment. All right, the hidden truth about manifestation. My name is Mahadeva. I am the Thunder Wizard. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the 3-step process to manifesting from the 5th dimensional state of probability, which is different from 3D manifestation. 3D manifestation is passive. It also doesn't work. Sorry to tell you. The law of attraction does not work consistently. The law of attraction has a very limited shelf life, and it ends up not lasting because it's passive. You've been lied to about a lot of things. You've been lied to, so have I. We all have. I'm no different than you. I'm just waking up to a lot of the lies, as are many of you. But one of the lies that you've been told is that life happens to you, and manifestation is something that comes to you as a result of your state of mind. You've been taught that your thoughts create things. That's also not true. There's a huge New Age, has been for years, for decades. The whole law of attraction, manifestation, where you go and you pay thousands of dollars to go on a cruise with Zohar the Magnificent, who supposedly channels multiple aliens at once and gives you a bunch of double talk. And here's the bottom line of all of it. The bottom line of all of it, I'm going to give you the message, why it's so popular, and why people who don't really have the ability in the long term to actually change their life, why they keep going back, why they swear by it. Because the whole point of the law of attraction is people go to feel better about their state. They want to be told that everything is okay. They want to be told they haven't done anything wrong. They want to be told if you just have happy feelings, happy things will come to you. They are told that they don't need to do anything to manifest what they want. They are told that life will come to you as long as you get yourself in a proper receptive state. And then there's a bunch of double talk and a bunch of just sort of street wisdom, that anybody can come up with, just practical know-how. But somehow, if a human being is channeling multiple aliens at one time, that somehow makes that sort of practical advice that anybody could give. That's, as long as you throw in a couple of things that sort of make it difficult to understand, somehow that makes it mean something. But the bottom line of all of it is people go to feel good. They don't go to change. And so that's 3D manifestation at best. We're going to talk about the 3 steps to actual manifestation, 5D manifestation. So let's get into that. The first step to manifesting from the... Before I get into the steps, let me explain to you what a probability state is. So one of the most easily, probably the most mind-bending thing that was told to me by a higher dimensional being about 7 or 8 months ago was this being came to me and said, "You are a probability." And I wasn't sure what that meant. I didn't know what a probability was. I knew enough about quantum physics, armchair quantum physics, to know that we live in infinite possibilities. There are infinite numbers of timelines possible. There are infinite numbers of possible experiences that could be going on and have to be going on simultaneously. And I said, "Do you mean that I am one of infinite numbers of possibilities?" And the being repeated himself, and he said, "You are a probability." And I had to really absorb that and meditate on that, because that word, my brain translated that concept into English that I could understand in my voice and my brain, but the concept was much bigger than that. And I had to really live in that. So you need to understand something before we understand what manifestation is. In order to do that, you must understand that you only are experiencing the third dimension. You do not live there. The third dimension is, we've got this entire pen here. And at the point of this pen, the third dimension is the tiniest spot in the center at the very edge of the point of this pen. You are way back here. And imagine it's going way back like that. That's where you are, but your experience is in the third dimension. The third dimension itself is a fixed manifestation of an infinite number of probability states. And 3D reality, which you can't take 3D out of 4D, which is time. 3D reality is nanoseconds being fixed into reality from the fifth dimension of probabilities. And these nanoseconds of probabilities that become fixed realities are like slices of bread. They're stacked right in front of each other. And you are moving through each fixed manifested probability state. And so you experience yourself going forward in time. But the reality is that your experience of this three-dimensional time slice is only a memory. I'm pausing for effect here. I want you to take that in. Your experience of 3D reality is a memory. It's already gone. It's over. There has been no shortage of scientific experiments that prove that decisions do not happen in the brain. If you put a bunch of electrodes on my head and you want to measure where in my brain the little electrical signal goes off that supposedly tells me to make the decision to pick this pen up, and you tell me, pick up this pen, and I reach to pick it up, after I've picked it up, the brain will fire, which goes against the assumption that the brain is deciding and making decisions. The brain isn't making decisions. Your spirit is making decisions, and your spirit is not in the third dimension. So by the time that your brain recognizes and records an event, it has already happened. But for you, you think it's happening in the moment. So the present moment is already a memory. It's already past. So you cannot manifest from a state where you are expecting something to come to you. It doesn't work that way. That's why people who go to see Zohar the Magnificent and go on cruises, that's why they go to that, because people don't want to change. People are attached to their fixed three-dimensional state. They want to live in a reality where things, manifested things that somehow already exist somewhere, flow to you. And the only thing that you have to do to make that happen is be happy. Or create the right space to receive. That is all a bunch of nonsense. It's double talk. It's designed to do one thing. It's designed to keep you focused in the fixed three-dimensional reality that has already happened. I don't know if you can see that or not. So there's 3 steps. And this is not passive manifestation. This is being like God. This is like actually going and deciding how to create the universe at any given moment. And bear in mind, it's always temporary. There's never like, I've created this and this will last forever. Nothing works like that. Nothing in 3D reality works like that. You think it does, it feels like it does, but the truth is, you keep remanifesting the same reality, in succession. And so that gives you the false experience that your 3D reality is fixed. And it's not. It's a moment-to-moment manifestation from you in the 5th dimension. So the first step is that you must have a clear desire. Did you notice I didn't say clear intention? Intentions are arbitrary. Intentions are intellectual, arbitrary things. I didn't say have a clear intention, because you can intend anything. And if, again, according to the law of attraction, you manifest whatever it is you think about, or you manifest whatever it is you're feeling, it means that the universe is completely arbitrary. It means an arbitrary universe is an empty, soulless universe. You're told that nothing is good or bad, but the truth is that's not your experience. Your experience is you have positive feelings and negative feelings about things. You can say nothing's good, nothing's bad, but it's double talk to gaslight yourself out of the negative feelings that you're having about the life that you consciously don't want to experience. So let's get rid of that nonsense. Your first step is to have a clear desire. And what is the difference between a desire and an intention? A desire is not something that you arbitrarily just decide to come up with. A desire is not something that you just arbitrarily decide to come up with, because we don't live in an empty universe. The universe is actually your soul. The universe, the multiverse, consists of desire. God is desire. We could say God is love, but the truth is, God is desire. Now we run into another lie you've been told. You've been told by religion that you must get rid of your desires. That's sinful. That's selfish. That's lower vibrations. You have to focus on God and not have any desires and just give yourself over to God's will. But what if God's will is in fact your deepest desires? You don't invent your desires. You invent your intentions. You decide what your intention is. If anybody who's trained in acting, you know that. What was your intention in that scene? What was your character's intention? You go into it knowing that the character wants something, has a desire, and then comes up with a plan to accomplish that, which is what human beings do. Your intention is an arbitrary, intellectual, manufactured thing, but your desire isn't something that was manufactured. It is something that existed in the fabric of the universe, of your soul. So if desire exists within the fabric of the universe, it is the most holy, sacred thing there is. You cannot invent your desires. The only thing you can do in the third dimension is become aware of what those desires are. And that sounds easy enough, except that you have this whole other part of you. I'm going to say it, the vast majority of people who keep going to law of attraction seminars are actually seeking to stay in their conflict. They don't want to leave their conflict. If they were given all of the things they think that they want, they would be miserable. Life for people in the third dimension, you have two basic choices. Of course, there's a spectrum, but you have two basic choices. One is to live so that you will be accepted by the narrative, which includes your parents, includes your religion, includes government, includes popularity, your spouse. People who live to get love and approval from others are living in the narrative. That's what the narrative is. In fact, you're told the last 2 years you were given a narrative on what you were supposed to do to your physical body. And you were told by Arnold Schwarzenegger, screw your feelings, he said. You're told to not do what you think is best for you. You have to sacrifice what you think is best for you for the good of the whole, which means that you are being told to get rid of your individuality. If you get rid of your individuality, you will then have to fight against your desires. So you must have a clear desire. Because if you have a clear desire, you are already tapped into higher dimensional essence. Because your essence is in the fifth dimension. It's not in the third dimension. It's probably much higher than the fifth dimension. But for lack of, for just to make things simple. So what is the fifth dimension? The fifth dimension is a state of probability. It is the last state of probability before things become fixed in 3D space-time. So it's a state of timelessness, and any being who lives in the fifth dimension can be in infinite numbers of physical places at once. They can be in infinite numbers of points in time at once. They can be in infinite numbers of timelines and be in infinite numbers of places and infinite numbers of times within infinite numbers of timelines. We can't comprehend that, but that's what a fifth dimensional being can do. So a fifth dimensional being is just like the architect in the Matrix. Go into a room and the architect is there surrounded by a bunch of televisions, which are all probable realities. And he's picking from all these probable realities to create the reality supposedly this evil architect is doing. But that's exactly what happens to fifth dimensional beings. They can pick and choose from probable realities because they're not fixed in the third dimension. To be fixed in the third dimension means that you have to have what we experience as negative feelings. You have to have anger, you have to have fear, you have to have envy, you have to have depression, you have to have narcissism. These are the things that fix you into 3D, which is why human beings inaccurately fight against what they believe to be their ego. They don't really know what that means. People conflate their ego with their soul. People conflate their ego with their desires. But your desire is what makes you an individual, not the fixed ideas of who you think you are. So to live in that state, a true state of probability, means you must die to yourself, which is the opposite of what religion and pseudo-spirituality tells you. Pseudo-spirituality tells you you have to be free of desires because then you can connect, and that's not true. Buddha never said you had to be free of desires. He said you had to be free from attachment, which is not the same as desire. Have I hammered that home? You must worship your desires. Now, you're going to have to figure out the difference between a true desire and an impulse. You're going to have to figure out the difference between your desires and your feelings. You're going to have to figure out all of that. And the only way to figure out that is to meditate on whether or not you are living for your true identity, your soul, or whether or not you are living to appease the narrative. That's the whole point of life. That's the whole spiritual process. That's what meditation is about. That's what psychology is about. That's what true spirituality is about. So step 1, you must know what your true desire is. Step 2, you must rise energetically beyond the fixed third dimensional state. Remember that in the third dimensional state, you're always living in the past. Every experience you have is a memory, is your brain remembering what was just manifested a nanosecond ago. You think it's happening right now, but it's actually a memory of the past. You cannot create from the past. You can't do it. The past will be dictating. For instance, those of you who think you don't have enough money. I'm poor. If only I had more money, it would be okay. That's a memory. It's not reality. That's not what's happening in the present moment. That's something that you believe to be true in the past. You also believe that money exists, which it doesn't. It's an arbitrary concept, which is one of the reasons why, trying to manifest money is a complete waste of your time. Because you're trying to manifest an arbitrary intellectual concept. If you try and manifest a life that requires money, that's different. So you focus on the life itself and the experience that you choose to manifest. That will then create the need for money to be manifested as well. Because if it takes this arbitrary BS concept of money to manifest it, then it will be there for you. So the second thing you must do is you must do meditation and energy work in order to shift yourself out of the fixed three-dimensional state. The only way to get yourself out of the fixed three-dimensional state is by meditation and energy work. It's not going to come from thinking. It's not going to come from philosophizing. It's not going to come from reading books. Those things are fun and interesting and entertaining, but they won't give you the ability to be in the probability state. The only way that you can access your higher dimensional, fifth dimensional probability state, the part of you that is in probability and is picking and choosing from all of the different probabilities and manifesting it. The only way you can choose to be there is through energy work and meditation. That's what the 90-day challenge is all about. It is the most powerful energetic practice in the history of the human race. It's taken me, 10 years to finally come to that understanding and be able to say that and mean it without feeling, narcissistic about it. It's just the truth. There is no other system of energy practice out there that comes anywhere near close to it. There's no other energy system in the history of the planet that gives you access to the three energies that you have as a human being, spiritual energies. Chi energy. The chi energy, the life force energy, is literally the consciousness energy that is manifesting in the 3D. You can tap into that while you're in 3D. It's sort of like the closest you can get to being in the fixed 3D state, but you're not quite there yet. You're tapping into the life force energy, and it is a conscious energy. It responds to your consciousness, not to your intentions. It responds to your desires, not your intentions. The second energy is Kundalini. Kundalini is a 5D energy of consciousness. It is the awareness that you have in a higher dimension. This is why when people have Kundalini awakenings, they can also lose their mind. So people who have Kundalini sickness, people who have Kundalini psychosis, these are people who are neurotically attached to their 3D life. To be in Kundalini means to be out of 3D, but if you're attached to it, my name is so-and-so, I do this, my parents did that, I believe this, I don't believe that. If you're attached to the idea of who you are, you will go crazy. I know, it's happened to me numerous times. You will lose your mind. The more that you fight to stay attached because you feel like you're going to disappear and die, because you don't know the difference between your 3D attached experience and your true spiritual identity, the more that you fight to stay an individual in 3D, the more Kundalini will drive you crazy. The more that you let go, the more you end up having a blissful experience. The third energy that you will get when you subscribe to the 90-day challenge is an energy that you will not find anywhere else, probably anywhere online, YouTube, and that is what's called the heart mind, which is the lightning energy that surrounds the heart. This energy is absolutely essential for destroying your attachment to the third dimension. This is energy that was used for thousands of years for fighting demons. Demons are nothing more than emotions that serve to attach you to your narcissism, your victim mentality, your three-dimensional trapped in the 3D time frame. So when you tap into this energy, you will destroy not only your attachments, but you'll also have the ability to destroy negative beings with your energy. And if you become a spirit fighter, you can do it with your bare hands. This is the only place in the world where you're going to find all three of those energy systems in one practice. So step 2 is to be in a state of heightened spiritual energy that lifts you out of 3D so you can you can consciously tap into the probability state. And from there, you can direct your desire, because in the probability state, you're not attached to your ego. You're not attached to who you think you are. My name is so-and-so, yesterday this, I don't have enough money, I'm not good enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, nobody loves me. That's all 3D time things. Those are 3D, those are stories. Story means history, it means the past. These are things that you bought into that you believe make up your identity, and they don't. They just make up your 3D manifested self. When you are in that state beyond that, you're not attached to any of that, which means you can tap into your true desire, which is your soul, and from there you can pick whichever probability you want to manifest. You focus on that, you go, I like that. Your desire says, yes, that's the one I want. That feels good. And now you have picked from the vending machine, you've picked the probability you want to experience. That's step 2. Then you have to come back into 3D. You have to then come back into 3D and open your eyes and be living this continual memory. But you must kickstart the process of manifestation from the probability state. That is done through appropriate action. And let me be clear, the appropriate action will almost always destroy your idea of who you are. It can be very frightening. It can be very traumatic, depending on how attached you are. Now, the more trauma that you've experienced in your life, the more attached you will be. The people who are insane, people who suffer from mental illnesses, are extremely attached to the memory of 3D and to what they believe their identity is. That's why they're Looney Tunes, because they believe that the past is real, more real than probability states. It drives them crazy. It's a very unhappy place to be. So the people who want to learn to manifest the most are the people who have experienced the most trauma, because these are the people that want to change their lives, and these are the people who want to be happy. And this is why these are the people who go to Zohar the Magnificent's cruise and all the other law of attraction gurus who tell you that what you need to do is focus on your happy feelings. And what you need to do is, in fact, I heard it today. I've never heard anything more completely false, but at the same time, so appealing at the same time. Zohar the Magnificent said, you never become more aware of what you desire when you are face to face with what you don't want. Now, does that make sense to you? I'm going to repeat it. Let it sink in and see if you agree with that. They said, you never become more aware of what you truly desire, except when you are face to face with what you don't want. And that is false. That sentence is designed to keep you attached to the third dimension. And the operative phrase is being face to face with what you don't want. I'm going to tell you something that's true about everything dysfunctional. It's true about addiction. It's true about destructive relationships. It's true about gambling. Gambling especially. I want you to think about gambling if you've ever gambled before. There's a reason why there's one sin, according to Hindus, that you can't burn off in one lifetime, and that's gambling. Did you know that? Gambling, murder, and sexual assault, and killing your teacher. Those are the 3 things that you cannot, just according to Hindus, you cannot burn off that karma in one lifetime. The other 2 make sense. Sexual assault and murdering your teacher. But why is gambling? Because gambling has nothing to do with winning money. Gambling is about being in that state of hoping that at any moment things are going to be different. And it's not the same when you get what you want. When I lie down, or when I'm waking up, or if I'm in the bathroom, I play one of these, tic-tac. It's not a tic-tac-toe game. It's like you attach the dots, right? It's just something that's just a brain thing to do while you're sitting on the toilet. And as I'm playing it, it feels good until I win, and then I go, oh, that was disappointing. Every time. And yet I'll play it again, because the feeling of I'm about to get what I want. I'm about to fix it. It's about to happen. Being in that state of hoping for the possibility is more addictive than actually changing your reality. That's why people who go see Zohar the Magnificent love it when they say, you never know what you truly want more than when you're face to face with what you don't want. And it's just not true. Absolutely 100% false. I'm going to give you an example. You're broke. Looking at being broke makes you feel powerless, makes you frightened, but more importantly, it makes you feel devalued. It makes you feel like you're unloved and unworthy. That's why people hate being broke, because they feel like losers. A loser is somebody nobody likes, nobody loves. So nobody likes to feel that way. So when you're face to face with being broke, that does not in any way tell you what you want. Because what you're going to do is you're going to say, oh, I want money. Money doesn't exist. Wanting something that doesn't exist, a completely arbitrary concept that only has value because you and I agree it has value because we believe and we've submitted to the authority, the government, who says you have to have this in order to do anything. And this has value. Why? Because we said it does. Well, why does it have less value today than it did tomorrow? Because we said so. Well, why is there such a thing as inflation? Well, because we keep printing this money that doesn't exist. And so people die over this concept that doesn't exist. So not having money is only going to make you feel like you want money. But that's not a desire, because you can't desire an arbitrary concept. You can't. It's impossible. It's a head game. So it's absolutely false that looking at what you don't want tells you what you desire. Absolute, total, false nonsense. Your desire exists on its own before you were ever manifested into 3D. Your desire is more powerful than your feelings. Your desire is more powerful than your intentions. Your desire is more powerful than your arbitrary intellectualized ideas of what you think reality is, which is always a memory of the past. Your desire goes beyond that. Your desire is your soul. So it's not true. Focusing on the negative will not tell you what your desire is. The only thing that will tell you what your desire is your desire. And the only way that you can feel your desire is when you are seeking to detach from your fixed third dimensional understanding of who you are. And that, for very attached people, which is everybody who goes to the Law of Attraction seminars, it feels like death, feels like dying. And this is why the true spiritual archetypes of self-sacrifice are about self-sacrifice. Odin sacrificed himself to himself for his own enlightenment. Unlike Jesus, who's a codependent, covert narcissist, who was killed, allowed himself to be murdered so that you would feel guilty and then you would worship his narcissistic father. It's the exact opposite. And then we say, oh, he's so good, he gave to others. He didn't give anything to others. You don't think he didn't gain from that? He didn't exist, by the way. Jesus didn't exist. He's a fictional character. If you don't believe me, watch Creating Christ, or get my book. Go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com and get my book, Odin Says Jesus Was a Coward. I'll prove it to you. You can prove it historically. It's impossible for him to have existed. At least the written story about him. All right, so those are the three things. The first one is that you must know what your true desire is. You must then meditate or do energy work to take yourself out of the fixed three-dimensional attachment state, be in the state of fifth dimensional probability, and in that state, let your desire show you what it is you truly want. Then you come back into the third dimension. You take appropriate action towards what you saw in your meditation, even though it goes completely against everything your 3D attached self is telling you to be and do, and you go through that death, then you will manifest a new reality. Then, and only then, if you want to manifest a new reality, you must completely change who you are. That's a fact. I just got confirmation from that. All right. You have to completely change who you are or who you think you are. So I'm happy to take any questions if there are any questions. The way it works is you write the word question in all caps, just the word question, and then you write your question. And if you have a feeling, share your feelings. Why is that? The two most important things you need if you want to interact with higher dimensional beings who will help you evolve beyond the third dimension. The two things you need is to be able to ask an honest question. They may or may not answer you. They may give you an answer that you don't understand. But learning to ask true questions is very helpful. And the second one is be able to identify your feelings, including your negative feelings. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm scared, I'm confused, I'm inspired. You must be able to verbalize those feelings because these beings will only be able to connect to you when you're in that state of mind. When you're in a questioning state, you're not fixed in 3D. When you are able to verbalize your feelings without allowing them to determine your actions, then you are in a state of probability. So these are the two things I like on my channel. Questions and feelings. Let's see, what else? Looking for the questions here. Josh P. Question. Josh, that's not a question. Josh, are you subscribed? You're not, are you? So let me show you the disconnect here. You come on so far lately, every time that I'm giving a live stream, you watch my videos, but you don't follow my suggestions. Why is that? Last time you said it was because you didn't want to have to sacrifice anything for 5D. And I'm just got through this whole, however long I've been talking, saying that you must completely change everything about yourself. That's going to take action, that's going to take work, that's going to mean self-sacrifice. So bear in mind, I'm going to know when you're doing the work. You've been on my channel long enough, you should know better. If you show up here and you're brand new to my channel, I give you a pass because you don't know any better. But I can tell if you're doing the work. And I can tell by your question you're not doing the work. You say, would you consider your methods to be a cult? Who cares? What difference does it make? You've now devalued me. You don't realize that. Because you say, I'm studying and learning more about yogic ritual and methods. Well, that's not a cult. Where did you get the idea that yogic ritual and methods are a cult? And by the way, how does it help you connect to me? If you're coming onto my channel, I have techniques and practices that I teach, and you're telling me you're doing other stuff. How does that help you connect to me and learn from me? It doesn't. So I have to question why you're here. I don't understand it. You come onto the channel, you ask questions whenever I'm here. You're not doing any of the stuff that I teach. In fact, you come on here and tell me that you're doing other people's stuff. And you ask me if I consider myself this, that, or the other thing. Totally disconnected from what it is we're doing here. So I encourage you to do the work that I've got here. When you start doing the work that I teach, I'm going to know in your question. I'll immediately know. You're not doing it yet. And the only reason I bring that up is because I could answer all of these superficial nonsense questions and you could feel like you're having a connection with me, but I'm not doing my job. I'm not helping you. My job is to help you. So if you want to be able to have a stronger, more productive interaction with me, I recommend that you subscribe. I know you spend at least $55 on other things. You could spend that money on what I teach, and then you'd have reason to come onto my channel and ask me a question, instead of coming onto my channel and asking me questions that have nothing to do with anything I've said or anything I teach. Okay? So make better use of your time and your energy. That's what I'm saying. Agent of the Universe question. I feel like, okay, this isn't a question yet. I feel like my sole desire is to be a USPS mail carrier, but I applied to Target to be a cashier. My thoughts. Okay, asking me my thoughts isn't a question. You know what I mean? It's not a question. You've already kind of said that you want to be a mail carrier, but you applied to have a different job. So I don't know what you want me to say. You know, if what I'm saying is know what your desire is and then take action on it. You know, I mean, I don't know how easy it is to become a mail carrier or not. I don't know. So, I mean, I think you can pretty much figure out what I'm going to tell you. If you know what your desire is, that's what you should be taking action on. And if it doesn't work out, then try something else. But there you go. Afro-Man question. Afro-Man, I think every time you come on here, you ask me about celestial qigong. But it's really not, again, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for sounding like such a pain in the ass, but it's really not a question. Asking me to describe it. Would I describe it with these words? You say, is celestial qigong would be metaphysical soul navigational healing? I mean, did I say that? By the way, in case anybody wants to know what he's talking about, celestial qigong was the energy practice, the base energy practice for the Maoshan spirit fighting. And I created it by reverse engineering the very high level stuff. And it's actually the base level energy practice. It's an extremely powerful energy practice that I recommend everybody learn if they're doing the 90-day challenge. At least become familiar with it. You can go to, right now, you can get it for almost nothing because I'm an idiot. You can go to solarflash.thunderwizard.com and you can get it with a bunch of other stuff. You can also just go to, I think you can just go to celestialqigong.com and get it if you want to do it. Afro-Man, it sounds like you're asking me to co-sign your opinion of what you think it is. And I don't need to do that. You're fully capable of having your own opinion about it. It sounds like you're having a great experience with it, and it sounds like it's working for you. And it doesn't matter if I would call it that. If you want to call it that, go right ahead. I wouldn't disagree with that description. All right, Josh, I think you and I are done. You said, I don't need a course to do what you teach. That is the furthest thing from the truth. You don't even know what I teach. You've never done it. And it is an incredibly disrespectful thing to say. You're on my channel and you're telling me you don't need what I offer, and yet you ask me questions. So we're done. I've spent enough time on you, and all I see from you is, this narcissistic denial and telling me you know more than I do. So we're done. I don't want to get caught up. I want people who have honest questions, and I only want to work with people who want to do the work. And if you don't want to do the work, I don't have time for you. You're welcome to come on the channel, do whatever you want. There's plenty of free stuff. Have a good time. But I don't want to be distracted by your, quite frankly, disrespectful unconscious comments. So we're done. Take it easy. All right, what else? Agent of the Universe. I've done his courses. I can testify that it is more than basic yoga. Yeah, so that's what I mean. You have to actually do something to know what they are. You don't have the first clue what you're talking about. And that's okay. You know, Josh's main thing is he doesn't want to sacrifice. He doesn't want to do anything that costs him anything in time, money, energy, humility. He doesn't want to, he's entitled, like most people are. He wants everything to come to him. And that's because he's afraid of changing. Now that could change. I'm telling you the state of how he's interacting with me now, which I've now blocked him so he can't interact with me again. That may change. He might change in the future, but for now, he is defiantly wanting to stay stuck in his wherever he's at. And that's the thing. I mean, again, this is what's so frustrating for me. This is why Zohar the Magnificent is really rich and successful. Because like a drug dealer, what she does is she appeals to people's unwillingness to change. And at the same time, their need to feel their negative feelings. And like a gambler, stay in that space where I'm almost about to get what I want. It's almost going to happen. It's almost, which is what the law of attraction is about. Sit on your ass, get yourself in a good feeling place, and the idea, the assumption that life comes to you, that your job is to create a receptive oracle for life to flow to you. And life doesn't work that way. Life is not something that flows to you. Life is something that is manifested based on who you are, who you choose to be. And in order to change who you are, you must take action. You must sacrifice. It must cost you something. Nothing ever is created without sacrifice, self-sacrifice, changing yourself, taking action. It's the exact opposite of what you're being told. And it's a great way to make money. Appealing to people's victim mentality, their narcissism, and their desire to stay in their negative feelings because they understand it. Staying in fear of lack, staying in, I'll be better tomorrow. It'll be okay tomorrow. I'm okay as I am, even though I don't have anything that I want. It's going to come to me. There's a song that drives me crazy. What is the song? It's a song from the 90s. Two girls sing it. Oh God, if I can remember it. It's now played in, when you go to the grocery store, it's played in the background. Just hold on one more day and things will go your way. And every time I hear that, just hold on one more day and things will go your way, I go, why? What do you mean? Things aren't going your way right now. I don't know why. Your relationship is a mess. You're broke. You're sick. You're something. Something's not going the way you want. But if you just stay where you are and don't do anything, things will go your way. Things will go your way. You won't do anything. You won't change, but things will do something different for you. They'll go and I go, why? And every time, from the first time I heard that song, I was like, I don't understand that. That sounds like somebody who's really depressed and is unwilling to change and unwilling to take action and is hoping that tomorrow things will be different if I just hang on right where I'm at. And this is where the law of attraction comes in, because in that state, you want to judge yourself. You feel bad, you feel negative, but you can't break out of it. And so you want Zohar the Magnificent to come and tell you, no, you're okay. All you have to do is just be in a receptive state and it'll come to you. And they do, and then they have this mixed metaphor in that song where there's that part where they say, break free from the chains. Well, which one is it? Are you breaking free from the chains, and the chains of what? Chains of addiction, the chains of what? Or are you sitting on your ass and waiting for things outside of you to by themselves magically go your way? That's the law of attraction, guys. And that's why it's so popular, and that's why people keep coming back, because it doesn't work. What else? All right, I don't know who you are, and I'm not interested in you babbling nonsense, so I'm going to put you in a timeout. Agent of the Universe says, and I don't know why I'm saying this, he says, I don't mind sacrificing for things I find valuable. I do my best not to expect a handout. I used to ask for lessons for free, but now I know better. Yes, I remember that. Agent of the Universe, you didn't bother saying this was a feeling or a question, but you wrote it down there, so you must want my reaction to it. And I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm tempted to purchase the 90-day challenge again. Well, it's not a purchase, it's a subscription, and it's a 1-month subscription. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. But to be honest, there's part of me that's scared. I thought you were going to say, but I can't afford it, which is another thing. But why you should do anything because why you should deny yourself something you want because you're scared is a less than successful way to live. Successful people don't live like that. Successful people, if they want something, they value their desire more than their limitation, and they will do whatever it takes to get what they want. My ancestors said, those who die in battle go to Valhalla. Not those who aren't scared, not those who have enough money, not those who feel okay about it, not those who want everything to come to them. No, not those who are super brave, not those who feel everything is okay, not those who have more, fearlessness than they need. No, it says those who die in battle. I mean, those who take the action, not those who have any feeling whatsoever. It's not about your feelings. It's about taking actions towards your desire. And Agent of the Universe, you should know this by now. I don't know why you would deny yourself something. The truth is, if you continue, bear in mind that manifestation is a continuous process. It's not like you did, well, I did it last year. Well, I took vitamin C a year ago. Well, I went to the gym like 5 years ago. Oh, I slept last month. Manifestation is something that happens every instant of every day. Every instant of every day. You can't do something and then sit back, and it just, nothing works like that. And I mean, this is why it takes discipline. Again, this is why law of attraction is so popular. It takes zero discipline to sit on your ass and try and masturbate yourself into a feeling. It takes zero discipline. It doesn't cost you anything of yourself, of your essence. And the only thing you must change, if you're going to change your reality, is everything about yourself. If it were different, I would tell you. If I knew of an easier way, I would tell you. Because if I knew of an easier way, I would make a lot more money than I do. But I tell you, the truth is, I know it to be. All right, that's it. I'm all done. I don't see any other questions here. So I guess we're done. All right, guys. So again, this channel is not about listening to me talk. This channel is about you taking the action. All of these things are here. 90-day challenge gives you access to the lightning qigong, which I already talked about. It gives you access to the interdimensional meditation course, which is my methods of how you can connect to higher dimensional beings, which will in fact help you to shift to the higher dimension and help you to destroy your attachments to limited 3D. It'll give you access to the Manifestation Mastery course, which will teach you to interact with the matrix and treat it like a vending machine. And you have to know what to do to get it to react a certain way. And then you'll have access to the Mastery of Shamanism course. Each one of these courses are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And you can get it for as much as it would cost you to buy a video game or buy a bag of weed. So buy a bag of weed and destroy my ability to make choices, or subscribe to the 90-day challenge. It's up to you. Courses.thunderwizard.com, all of my services, all of my packages, and of course my books, one of the latest ones, Interdimensional Revolution. You can find those on audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. If you live in a foreign country, make sure that you click going to the US site so you can see my books. And there you go. Taking action, investing in yourself will always pay off. And that's what I recommend. All right, let's a couple things have popped up yet. Honest feeling. I'm judging myself for not sharing my feelings in meetings because I want others to take my feelings away and know they can't, so I hold back. That's true. They can't take away your feelings. In fact, talking about your feelings will make you feel them more. So I understand that feeling. Yahweh's Sandwich. Question. When do you think the Jewish Roman mind matrix will end? When do I think that will end? I don't think that question serves you. The real question is, when are you going to take action to end it for yourself? It's going to end whenever it ends. What are you doing for yourself? Take more of an active approach. I don't have an answer to your question. But I also think that the question doesn't serve you. All right, I don't know what any of that is. Okay, that's it. All right, guys, that's it for me now. I will see you all next time. Thanks for showing up.